Andres Chang. Okay, hello Andres, welcome back.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
welcome back.
evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me back again. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
So I believe that you heard some of our sharings. No, I forget to tell that you made a very concrete example last Tuesday about the owning a car. No, I am really touched with that. No, so have you heard Ati Mercy said that he did not know that he's really living in some minimalism already. So that's it. Okay, can you
Mm.
give us another view of another example of how it is to live a minimalistic life, Andres, before we will go to some of the questions that we were
Sure,
going to ask you.
sure. There's actually minimalism can actually reveal a little bit of sexism in the world. For example, in my case, I'm a man, and I've been losing my hair since I was 16. And then one day I decided, you know what? I'm just so tired of combing my hair every day, and so I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to shave my head,
Mm.
let it grow, and then every now and like once a month, just shave it. That's one less thing to worry about. But with women, at least here in the Philippines and in a lot of other places, you can't really do that, and or you can, but it would be difficult. It's much more. It's easier for me to, as a man, to live simply and shave my head than it would be for the three of you to stop wearing makeup, shave your heads. Uh, you know, I mean,
Yeah, true.
stop wearing high heels, or even the little teeny tiny heels that you wore for your school uniforms, and maybe you have to for your work uniform,
Stilito,
whatever your job
stilito.
is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but a woman said something very interesting some years ago. She has this famous video. I forget her name, but the video, you can probably still find it on YouTube. It's called "The Story of Stuff." Excuse me. Anyway, and she said something very interesting. She said, women can wear less makeup, and then she said, or women can choose to be beautiful without makeup.
Wow. So the three
Inner
of us are
beauty.
not the three of us are not really wearing our makeups.
It's
Tama
an
ba ako,
And
Ate Mars? Am
Yes.
I correct? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No,
It's
it's
our
it,
inner beauty that exudes. Oh. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
the
Yes, Ate
Andres,
Rose.
our minimalism is through our hair. Some will cut it short so you can save with your shampoo, with your conditioner. Because if you have long hair, di ba, Loretta? Long hair,
No.
more shampoo, more conditioner. But short hair, one sachet will last for 4 uses. Oh, di ba? We also have our own way of minimalizing things.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Uh,
trying to. I am contemplating to cut my hair short. Yeah, that's it.
okay.
Okay, so I used to have a short hair, di ba mga ate? I used to have a
Yes,
short hair. Okay,
yes.
so that's a good no. One can be beautiful even without a makeup. That's a very good point. Okay. So before we will proceed, I would like to recognize our guest. Thank you, Brother Ryan America, for watching. Magandang evening po. Good evening. Thank you very much. So please continue sharing and liking our episode this evening because this is a beautiful sharing. So can we start our questions for you, Andres?
of
So
course,
since the three of us, no, I will start first, mga ate. So since the three of us
Okay.
really are into a religious education, no, the two ates here are retired theology teachers of Ateneo de Davao University, and I am an active still teaching religious education in the school that I'm teaching now. So um Are there any biblical? What are the examples of minimalism in Catholicism? Have you find it there in the Bible, or can you cite some examples of minimalism? No, is there in Catholicism, Andres?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, there is nothing wrong with engaging the senses. Years ago, I met a man who had converted from Mormonism to Charles Cannon was his name. Years ago, I met
Oh,
a man. His name was Charles Cannon, and he uh, converted from Mormonism to Catholicism. And he pointed something out very interesting, which is the Catholic Church really engages the senses. You know, you see the big crucifix above the altar, and you hear the music, and you smell the incense, and you taste the communion on your mouth, and you touch the holy water. And so it's very so there's a lot happening. It's very ornate, it's very engaging, but which is doesn't seem very much like doesn't seem very minimalistic. But there is minimalism, of course, in Catholicism. We see priests and nuns who take vows of obedience, chastity, and of course, poverty.
Poverty.
So
uh,
that's one example of minimalism in Catholicism. We may not call it minimalism, but it's good for the soul, and of course the
Mm,
Catholic Church has always taught
mm,
that poverty, uh, material poverty, can be good for the soul. People sometimes
mm,
even fast
mm,
intentionally, and it can be a form of prayer.
mm,
Um, and full disclosure, actually, I actually well, I won't talk about that, but I'll just say, yeah. So those are two. So there are those are two concrete examples of minimalism, if you even want to call it that, in
mm,
Catholicism.
mm.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would affirm with the vow, especially the vow of poverty with the religious sisters and brothers and priests, no,
mm,
because they do not really own their thing, no. When, for example, a sister who works at a particular Catholic school, the check that she or he will that she will receive is not in her name, no. It is with the congregation's name,
mm,
no. So that's the one. So
mm,
even she's the one working, but the salary that she will receive, it will not go to her right away. That would be
mm,
for the congregation. So I believe
mm,
that it is for me, no, as I've heard you last Tuesday, and rest for me, that's minimalism, no. Going beyond, no, hindi that the sister does not own the what you call this one, the salary that she received, no, she gave it to the community. That's the one. Okay,
um,
that's a good
mm,
example. Okay, Ate
mm.
Rose.
I think going back to what Mercy said kanina, that living life simply, no? Living life simply. The word minimalism only came out no recently, but actually the practice of simplicity in life, that's already minimalism, no? You only
Oh,
have what you need. You only have what you need, and let go of wants. And that is minimalism, 'di ba? Mm. Only we are not conscious about it, as Mercy mentioned kanina.
so
Mm.
your thoughts of it, Ate Mars. Andres, nawala ka kasi kanina sa internet to Andres. So gives us an example of uh, the life of poverty, chastity, and obedience of a congregation, of a brother,
Mm,
a sister, and a
mm,
priest. She cite that example. So
mm.
I'd say this he he
So,
he taught it as a minimalistic way of life.
So I think it's just the same with saying that in religious congregation they practice the so-called vow of poverty,
Yeah.
Mm.
when they just live according to
The need.
their needs, and
Mm.
they don't have much. They don't have much to, uh, like for example, material things, because they are embracing a kind of life in the spirit of poverty. Uh,
That's
is that correct, Andres?
Well, yeah, like Ate Rose just said, it is very much, even though we have not called it minimalism, it has been
Mm,
practiced,
yeah, yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? It's uh, temperance, I guess, is what you can call it.
Mm.
Abstinence,
Valid. Mm.
abstaining
Mm.
Mm,
from things that you do not need. That's
Mm.
been practiced
mm,
Mm.
mm,
for a very long time.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Mm.
I am
Yeah.
just curious. I am just curious, Andres. Why you know all these things? Are you a Catholic, or if I mind asking you, or you just really have an experience of engaging some Catholic people that you met around when you were traveling or when you were here in the Philippines? Because you're so aware with what all these things. I'm just very curious. And
Uh, I was gonna say this, and then I said
yeah,
no, I won't say this. But yeah,
I
okay,
don't
now I'll
know.
say it. Now you've brought it
Yeah,
out of me. Okay,
yeah.
so I actually I wanted to be a priest.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh.
and uh, well, I'll tell you another story about my mother. You see, when I was a little boy, I asked my mom. I asked her if I could be an altar boy,
Mm.
and then she said to me, I don't know if you know the term mijo, but in Spanish it's my son. Anyway,
Ah.
and then so I said, Mom, can I be an altar boy? And
Mm.
then she said, and remember, this is in America. Uh, and in America, public school is free. Now, I
Mm.
said to my mother, so, Mama, can I be an altar boy? And she said, no, mijo, your faith is not something that you wear on your sleeve so that others can see you and praise you.
Mm.
It's a personal
Mm.
Mm.
relationship with
Mm.
God.
Mm.
And then
Okay. Okay.
later, I asked my father, I said, Papa, can I go to Salesian High School, the Salesian High
Mm.
School, right?
mm.
Wow.
And then being my father being the son of a Chinese businessman, he said to me, "No, mijo, public school is free."
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Private schools
practical,
are very expensive, no?
Oh
Private
yes,
school.
oh yes, oh
Mm.
yes,
private,
oh
and
Mm.
yes,
yes,
oh yes, oh
that's
yes,
right.
oh yes. Hmm.
Mm.
But
Wow, that's
anyway,
one. Yeah, okay, you
yeah.
continue, Andres. Okay.
Oh, so I there was there was a time when I wanted to be a priest, and uh, at the time the Pope was Pope John Paul II, and
Mm.
but I asked him, I told him, look, I want to get married and be a priest, and he wouldn't let me. So instead, I got married, and actually, that's not a true story. But I've never met Pope John Paul II, but it is true that I did want to be a priest at one time.
Wow.
Mm.
So, because you're from
Mm.
Guatemala, no? So it's also the Catholic
Mm.
faith there is also very strong. So thank you very much for sharing, Andres. So, Ate Rose, we have the second question for Andres.
Okay, okay. It's nice that to know that you are familiar with Catholicism, no? Uh, Going through the Gospels, what are those that you can find there that speaks of minimalism? Gospels of
Um,
Matthew, Luke, Mark, John.
I can cite Matthew 25, but that's not really about minimalism. I'll only say that Matthew 25, uh, whatsoever you do to the least of my brethren, so you do unto me. I That's my favorite gospel. But in terms of minimalism, really, I actually wrote it down. Of course, he tells a rich man to give all of his money to the
Mm.
poor. That is in the
Mm.
Yeah.
gospel. Um,
Mm.
in the gospel, as you pointed out last week,
Yeah.
there rose from
Mm.
Luke, "Be
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
guard from all forms of
Mm.
greed," and
Mm.
then there's of course. Uh, I've got two left. I don't know which I should say first. Okay, but well, there's the one where it's harder it's easier
A
for a camel to
camel
pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a
and
rich
for
man to
a
enter
rich
heaven.
man.
Which means
Yeah.
if you're rich,
Yeah.
it's probably impossible for you to get into heaven.
Mm.
Again, I'm not judging
Mm.
rich people. My grandfather was a rich man.
Mm.
My father's a rich man.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm not
Mm.
judging
Yeah.
anybody.
Mm.
And I live a
Mm.
comfortable lifestyle here in the Philippines. And then, of course, you cannot serve both
Two
God
masters
and
And
money.
Mammon.
and mammon.
You
Mm.
know, you just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
You know, and
Ah.
and something the theologian. Well, my favorite writer in the my favorite writer. He's an American. His name is Hedges. Chris Hedges. He's actually
Mm.
an
Yeah.
ordained Presbyterian minister.
Mm.
He has many hats. He's also a
Mm.
university professor and he's a writer. But
Mm.
he makes a very interesting observation, which is there's only one time in all four Gospels
Mm.
where Jesus does something that maybe you could call it violent, maybe. And what is that? And that's when he's overturning the tables of the money
Yeah.
changers in the temple,
Mm.
you know?
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's where you see him probably if there was a time where he lost his temper the most, it's
Mm.
that. And that's probably
Mm.
very telling, you know. And again,
Mm.
look, we all need money, but as we were talking about last week, you know, if you need something, you need it. If you want something, you want it. And
Mm.
but in these wants, which of them maybe can you do without?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The basic.
Very good.
You only have the basic.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ah.
yes,
So,
And
so
maybe also, sorry. Maybe also,
I,
Andres, it's it's a way of telling us to not to be attached, no? Not to be attached with the material things. That's why it's easier for a camel to pass through a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. That the attachment there is, I think, the issue. No? So, just like in practicing minimalism, when we are attached to our possessions, when I am attached to my hairbrush, no, I will have that no matter what. No, but if we practice minimalism, any brush will do for as long as it functions. No?
yeah, that's it.
Mm, mm.
Because sometimes we have to buy a more expensive hair brush,
Because of
because
the
Mm.
we
brand,
find,
because of the
yeah, because of
brand.
the brand, and we find a
Ah,
lot of, di ba,
ah,
Kumars,
Mm.
we find a lot
ah,
of things in the department store, especially for us women and dress, no. We can, they would also say this is better than this one. Yeah,
very tempting.
yeah,
Yeah,
very
yes,
So
yes,
just
yes.
pick it
tempting,
up.
very
that's the
tempting.
point, really. No, in minimalism, Rose mentioned about attachment. So I would say, in minimalism, we have to detach ourselves
Mm,
from
mm,
material things that may hamper us to live a simple life.
mm.
Detachment really is a way of life, a discipline that we have to embrace. Like
Ah,
what Loretta and Rose said, it's even including the thing that we want to buy in the department store. We
mm,
need not buy expensive things or
mm,
those with brands for as
mm,
long as it will answer a need. So that's it.
mm, mm.
detachment
Hmm.
from
But
material
the media is the media is
yes,
very strong, no,
very
in
powerful
convincing
media.
us, no. This is
Yes.
better. Hello Kitty is better.
Right,
Hello
right, right.
Kitty.
Consider, I mentioned before the person who made that video called "The Story of Stuff." You know,
Mm.
have you ladies ever wondered why is it that heels are fat one year and they're thin and pointy the next year, and then they're fat next year, and they're thin and pointy the next year, and for everybody, why is there a new iPhone every year?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
I'm also
You know,
asking that. Yeah, I'm also
yeah,
asking
yeah.
that.
And you know what? My wife is in Poland, so I can say this, and she's going to see it on the internet. But it's too bad, Wapa. You can't do anything about it. So anyway, she's always nagging me, right? She wants to buy the latest.
iPhone.
Cell
Sorry,
phone.
Wapa. She always wants to buy the latest iPhone, and I'm going to get in so much trouble. My sister-in-law, my in-laws, they're all going to call me tomorrow. They're going to be like, "We saw that video, and you said this." And, okay, but anyway, my wife always wants the latest iPhone, and I'm always telling her, "Wapa, look, I'm Chinese, okay? The monthly payment for the iPhone is the entire payment for the Android. Okay, I'm sorry, but you married the wrong
Ah.
guy. Okay, I'm not buying the stinking iPhone. I got in
Oh,
trouble. I got
wow.
myself in trouble with her last week. I got myself in trouble with her this weekend. So when we do this interview again,
Another
another
trouble.
embarrassing story about my wife. More trouble.
Another
Hi.
encounter.
Say
Another
hi to her.
encounter.
More trouble.
Another
Yeah.
encounter. Yeah, but maybe you make
Ah.
compromises also in maybe that's a relationship between husband and wife. Before we will proceed, we'd like to greet some people who are watching. Our CEO. Wow, good evening, Coach Leo. He is our president Andres, Coach Leo Gamal Arancha. Thank you very much. And kauban mong katikista. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ate Nancy, for watching. No, please like and share our episodes. And I do have some people here that I cannot see. It's Sir Manuel Labrador also is watching, and Kuya Cesar Horo Adarlo also is watching. Before we will proceed, Jake, and we have a short break. Welcome back, Andres. So, Ate Mers, can we have the third question for Andres?
Sige. Andres, is your life of being a minimalist taking away the fun in life, or or is it making you live a hard life with your minimalism?
Not at all. Actually, I pointed this out in last week, uh, and I'll get a little more personal because the last week I was more general with the car example, and this question is
Mm.
more personal. So,
Mm.
uh, in 2014, in 2013. Uh, I had everything, so to speak. I was
Mm.
living in California. Wow, I'm living in California, and I
Mm.
had a car. Wow, I owned a car, and I was living in a nice place. Wow, I'm living in a nice place, very very comfortable. And then, but I was not happy. And then
Mm.
I decided that I'm going to move to Taipei because I had actually many years before I had visited Taipei, and I had been there several times, and I decided, you know what, I'm always happy there. I'm gonna go there. So I moved out. I sold my car at a loss, um, and I was living in Taipei, and I was just so happy there. I was living in a
Mm.
much smaller place, um, kind of like maybe a little bigger than the place I have now. Just to give you an idea, I don't I didn't measure it, but the where I live now is about
Mm,
15 by 15 feet, and
Mm.
where I was living in Taipei, the room was about around the same size, maybe bigger, maybe 20 by 20, something like that.
Mm.
Um, and and Taipei, of the 4 years I lived there, it became my favorite city in the world. I've been to Singapore, I've been to Tokyo.
Mm.
Of course, I lived in California, and you really cannot compare Taipei with Davao. It's not a fair comparison because Taiwan is a rich country compared to the
mm,
Philippines.
yeah.
But I didn't have a car. The place I was living in was nowhere near as big as the place I
Mm,
was living in California, and I didn't even need a car because there were so many transportation options. There's a clean metro. There's which you don't even have to plan your trips in Taipei because the
Mm.
metro like comes every less than 5 minutes. So you don't even have to plan your
Mm.
trip.
mm,
You just go there, you wait, your train will get there. Don't worry, it'll get there. You get to where you're going. You get the bus, you've got the metro, you've got the taxis. There's a bike sharing program. Um, food that the the street food will not make you sick. The foreigners can, and any foreigner. I mean, it makes some foreigners sick, but again, uh, the vast majority of foreigners, you will not get sick eating the street food. So
mm,
I had less, and I was so much happier. And
mm,
again, I don't want to judge people. I don't want to, like I said
Mm.
last
yeah.
week, I don't want to say
Mm,
my minimalism is a virtue that you
mm,
lack. No, 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 no. I'm just saying
Mm.
mm, mm,
minimalism for me, and I think for everybody, and it's different for everybody,
mm,
how
mm,
the minimalism that you practice, and we talked about that last week also. It will not, it will make you happier, and it will put more
mm,
fun into
mm,
your life.
Mm.
When you
Mm.
have less things, I mentioned the car before. Let's talk about clothes. If you have a lot of clothes,
yeah.
consider that's nice, but that's more laundry you have to do. You know,
Mm,
right? If you have if you have a lot of things, that's more things that you need to take care of,
mm,
that take away from your time. And the thing is, what happens if you buy something that's brand new and it's beautiful and it's expensive, and that makes you happy for a little while, but then you have to keep cleaning it and maintaining it and keeping it up in good condition? That's, for me, that takes away my fun, and that
Yeah.
takes
mm,
away from time that I can spend uh, reading a book, hanging out with my friends.
Yes.
And if I don't take care of it, well, then sometime later I say, "Wow, look at this dirty old thing," and then I remember, "Oh, I spent so much money on that, and I'm not going to get the money back." And so I would say being a minimalist is. Is the opposite. It will make
Mm.
you happier. And again, it depends for everybody what the minimalism is.
mm,
How are you going to practice your minimalism? What makes you happier? Glasses or
Mm.
contacts? What makes you
Mm.
happier? The cord headphones or the cordless?
Mm.
It really depends. Because both wearing glasses, that can be an example of minimalism. Not wearing glasses and wearing contacts instead, that can be an example of
Tackling. Mm.
minimalism.
mm,
Um,
mm,
the contact lenses might not be an example of minimalism. The wired headphones might not be an example of minimalism. The wireless, because they're more expensive, might not be an example of minimalism. But find I encourage everyone to practice minimalism. Minimalism is for everyone. It is different for everyone. Find out what works for you, and
Mm.
it will make you happy. Getting back
Mm.
to the priests and the nuns, being a minimalist doesn't mean you become a priest or a nun and you take the vows of poverty. No, it
Yes.
means finding what do you need, because, and I don't
Mm.
know who said this, and maybe did we say this last week, but the things that you own, they end up owning you.
Yeah,
Mm.
true,
Yeah.
true.
Uh,
So
Especially,
the, so the
especially,
simple answer,
mm,
sorry, but the simple answer is
yeah, continue.
minimalism makes life more fun. It's
Yes.
Correct,
more
correct.
fun. It's more fun in the Philippines, and it's even funner with minimalism.
Wow. Ate, we will recognize first our mga kaigsoonang katikista who are watching. Wow. So I hope that they could share also this to their students. No, Ate Esther, Lina Sungay Valera, thank you for watching, Ate Esther. And we have Josh, no? Josh Abelio Desierto. Thank you for watching. Grabe ang suporta ng ating mga kapatid na katikista sa atin tonight. Magandang
mm,
gabi. So no, it's really, yeah, I'm just reflecting while listening to Andres, mga ate na, especially if you have some a lot of expensive stuff, no, like for example, what we call this, yung mga, especially for us, has wives, no, now we all have a lot of different brand of place like that, cooking wares, no, it's very that's the one that I'm really doing away, because if it will be broken with my child or my then I will get mad really, because why, this is very expensive.
Your
So
heart
so
will also be
will also
broken.
broken. What is the brand of that very expensive cookwares, Tell Mercy?
vision, vision,
Yeah, Vision is a
vision,
very, yeah, very
vision,
expensive,
vision. Mm.
very expensive.
Very
I was
expensive.
tempted to buy such kind of cookware, but I was reflecting. No, I can still cook anyway without the vision in my kitchen. That's the one, no? Because I have,
Guilty, guilty.
yeah, I have a friend who's really encouraging me to buy one, but I said no,
Mm.
no, I would not buy one. So that's just I'm just no, you can, yeah, I'm just reflecting what you have shared, Andres, that it hinders
Mm.
really some movements, no, if there are things very valuable in our place, in our home,
Mm.
that sometimes
Mm.
we have to take care of it, and we just keep it in our cabinets and we'll just use it. That's usually our honestly, and this is just my experience, my thought, no, na our Filipino culture, sometimes you should just be bring it out when there is fiesta, when there is big
Mm.
celebration, and after that we
Mm.
will keep it.
Lord, Lord, Lord,
Yes, Ate
Lord.
Rose. Yes.
I have liberated myself from that. No, yung to keep the
Wow.
best things only for the visitors. We'll use
Yeah,
the best
Yes,
things,
that's
no?
true.
yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
oh,
Mm.
because uh, we have to enjoy. No,
Yeah,
for example, I said
Yes.
guilty kanina with the vision because I use vision cookwares, no,
okay.
because uh, running away from cancer and etc. etc.
Yeah,
But it's a very good cookware. Until now, I am still using it. That's already more than 25 years.
and that's
25 years,
good.
but it
It's
is
still,
still functioning. Oh,
that's still that's still
later on, you will be
minimalism.
used to carrying it, so it will not fall down, no?
Yeah.
And I have a joke on that kasi when my children were still small, I hid it in the cabinet, no, and then my son discovered it, and then he said, "Oh, there is a cookware in the cabinet," and then I told him, "Do not touch that one. As ito, I even if you will stumble for as long as you will not break the cookware."
The cookware.
But later on,
Yeah.
they're used to it now. They were used to it already. Oh. But
It's
that was just,
it's good, Ate, that
like,
you're using it still minimalism because you're using it for 25 years already.
yes, yes. So,
Okay.
it's very durable, very durable.
Yes, Ate Mercy, your
Mm.
thoughts of it, what
For
did you
me
share?
also, I have what we call an issue on the use of, for example, towels at home,
Yeah.
and my children would tell me, "Mama, why is it that the best towels are for the visitors, while we are using the worn out towels?" And now that it's pandemic, so
Oh,
I throw away the worn out towels, and then we are using the very beautiful towels
Wow.
that we have.
That's good.
yeah.
Hey.
Finally, thank you,
Finally, no?
Manali.
Finally.
Yeah,
And then,
finally.
Lord,
Okay.
I would like to pick up what Andres said about
Yes.
happiness. Happiness.
Yes.
So,
Mm,
in minimalism, we have to find our ways how to be happy with the
yeah,
less things that we have in our life. And then
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember one
true.
friend. He told me last December. He said, we have to find happiness which is long lasting, not just
Mm,
any kind of happiness, but
mm,
it's a long lasting happiness.
Yeah.
mm,
So
That's
I
right.
think
yeah,
that's what Andres meant when he said happiness,
yeah,
that long
mm,
lasting happiness.
yeah. Ah, in continuation with that, Mersno, Andres, how about your hobbies? As you practice minimalism, did you get rid of your hobbies? Hobbies.
You know, yeah, it depends again for everyone. I used to long time ago. I used to play tennis, and I don't play tennis
Mm,
anymore uh,
mm,
because in part because it's you need a ball and you need a racket.
mm,
You know, if you want to get exercise or have fun or play games with friends, just get one ball and play football or
yeah,
soccer.
yeah.
Wow.
And if and
Mm,
if you
Imagine.
and if you want to exercise, you don't even have to go out for a run. You can just stay home and uh, and exercise at home. Just get on YouTube, find the exercise videos, and do whatever you like. But the shorter answer is you don't have to get rid of your hobbies.
mm,
Um,
mm,
Sometimes again, it really is different for everyone. You know, do you does it make you happy? Is it is it taking away for something else from something else? Like some some couples as they get older, you know, they may stop communicating, and so then a hobby can become an escape. You know, I'm taking up
Mm,
this hobby because
mm,
I'm so uncomfortable with my spouse now.
mm,
mm,
So but the short answer is no. You don't have to give up your hobbies. The longer answer is um, why are you doing this hobby? Uh, do you really enjoy it? Do you really enjoy it? Does it make
mm,
you happy? Do you want to share it with others? Yeah. So does it make you? Why do you do it? Does it make you happy? Do you want to share it with others?
mm,
And do you need it? What happens if you stop it? You know, are you using the hobby to cope with something? Is that a
mm,
coping mechanism? You know,
mm,
uh, so are you? This is not the same thing, and not to scandalize anyone, but oh, I just joined this Bible
mm,
study, or I just joined this prayer
oh,
group. Okay,
mm,
are you doing that to or here's a better example. Are you throwing
mm,
yourself into your career?
mm,
Are you throwing yourself into your hobby to avoid
mm,
something
mm,
or to escape
mm,
something?
Mm.
Um, so the simple answer is no. You don't have to give up your hobbies, but the more complicated answer is to ask yourself these questions I just asked. Why am I doing this? Am I happy doing
Mm.
this? Do I want to share this with other people?
Yeah.
Um, what does it give me?
Mm.
These are good questions to
Yeah.
ask.
We have a question here, Andres, from An Ali. Good evening, An Ali. Choosing few friends only, do you consider that as minimalism?
I think it was Aristotle who said that he who has many friends has no friends. And I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier my favorite writer, Chris Hedges, and maybe he got this from someone else too. Uh, if we're all honest with ourselves, we really only have um, a few friends that were, and even a few family members, and maybe there
Mm.
are some friends who are we're closer to than our family members who we can share um,
Mm.
our most private feelings
Yeah.
with. So your friendships, um, I think, are not about minimalism so much. I tend to look at minimalism in terms of material things that you own. But um, when you embrace minimalism, and this sounds very cliche, but it's true. For some people, when some people embrace minimalism and they declutter, not only do they
Mm.
declutter their space, they declutter their mind, they become more
Mm.
focused.
You
And
correct.
some people realize, you know what, I got all these friends or all these people who I call my friends, but are they really my friends? And are these
Mm.
relationships really healthy for me? I know
Mm.
I know this one guy because I'm a business consultant, and I know this business consultant who had an unhealthy relationship with his friends because it turned out that at the beginning he was just helping out his friends a little bit with their business, and then he realized, you know what, these really aren't my friends because I'm intentionally or otherwise, it ended up that he started working for them for free.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it really it's you could say that minimalism is about having uh not necessarily fewer friends, but quality over quantity in friends.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
And
So would
sadly, sometimes this happens in families also.
yeah.
Mm.
Sometimes family members, they intentionally or otherwise, they can hurt you, and or you can hurt them,
Mm.
and so sometimes you have to separate yourself from other people, including or distance yourself. Let me just say distance. Just put some distance, put some boundaries between family or friends to protect yourself. And also, it's good to consider, how am I treating other people?
Mm.
You know, am I
Yeah.
being fair to them? Am I being good to them? Am I being right with them?
Mm.
Yes.
Uh,
So
I have a very quick question, Lor.
oh
Uh,
sure, ate,
just,
no
uh,
problem.
just very quick. Because we have students also no as our viewers. So, how does your desk and your bed look like as a minimalist? Can you still remember it when you
You
were still
mean
a
you mean right
student?
now? Oh, when I
No,
was
no,
still
no.
a
When you were
student.
still a
We were
student,
still
because we have
students.
our student viewers, no. So,
Yeah.
how would you describe your bed and your desk when you were still a student?
Uh, Very
What can we see? What
messy.
can we see? Huh?
Yeah.
Very
Very
messy.
Very
messy.
messy.
Okay.
Very messy. Very messy. Now, I make my bed every morning.
Uh,
Wow.
I get up and I make my bed every morning. That's just
uh,
a habit that I picked up. But my desk is it again, it depends. I look at my desk now, like right now I'm looking at my desk um as I speak, and to me it's very messy and it's very cluttered. But at the same time, I know where everything is. And I
Okay,
Okay.
think
yeah.
and I think some people
Mm,
some
mm.
people would look at this desk and they would say, oh wow, that's very organized. And I think other people would look at that desk and say, this person is such a mess. And I have this end table next to my
Mm,
bed, which is
mm,
very which is quite the opposite of my desk. It's very everything is very in its place. So
mm.
it it really does depend with everybody, because like I said before, whatever your minimalism is, it's yours. And
Yeah,
so your style and your personality and
yeah.
uh, who you
Mm,
are will of course influence what your bed looks like, what your desk looks like, what your end table looks like, what your workspace looks like. Uh,
mm.
so uh,
Ah,
it really is different for everybody. So I would, you know what? If anybody wants to come over to my place right now, look at my desk, tell me what you think. Is it messy or not?
ah.
Yes, this is,
It may look messy, but everything that you need is there.
yeah.
It is. It is.
Ah,
Everything I need is here. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, thank you,
It's
thank
seven.
you.
It's 7:58 in the evening.
Oh, wow, wow.
I've said
How
that we will.
fast.
Andres would be with us this month. No, we have, because he has a lot of
Oh,
things. Yeah, he has a lot of things to share with us.
yeah,
Minimalism at
yeah.
work, minimalism
Okay.
and everywhere. No, diba?
Nice.
So
Mm,
because this is a very informative and a very engaged, very beautiful sharing, especially for our
mm,
students. No, for those of you who
yeah.
are teachers watching this evening, you can share this one with your students. So the last point that I'm going to ask you, Andres, is you've shared last Tuesday about your mother. You know, that you said that maybe you started with that. How is your relationship now with your mother about this? When you embrace really this, how does she look at you now? I mean, you embrace this minimalism advocacy in your life. How does he see it?
Well, I'm actually sad to say, and not to scandalize anyone, but my mother and I are estranged,
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm,
and I won't burden you or the viewers with
Yeah.
the details, but I'll just say she is not a minimalist, or a very different kind of minimalist than I am. And
mm,
some of it also is a little bit cultural, because
Yeah,
remember,
mm,
I
that's
was a
true.
baby when we moved to California, and Guatemalan moms are like Filipina moms, meaning they
mm,
are always mom. And it doesn't matter to my mom, and it doesn't matter to my mama that I'm 44 years old, I'm married, I live on the other side of the planet. She's always my mom. And as an American, I
Yeah.
can't handle that. And I told my wife, I said, okay, look, Papa, fine. If you want to be that way, if you want to be a Filipina mom, and you want to be up all in our kids' lives, fine. But I'm telling you right now, when my son's 13, it's like I'm personally hands off. I lead by example, and some of it has to do with gender also, and also some
mm,
of it before, not now. Beginning in beginning in 2000, definitely by 2010, this trend had changed. But definitely between 1980 and 2000, and remember, I turned 18 in 1995. So this was my mindset, and this was the dominant American mindset, especially among white Americans, and especially among Americans who did not come from immigrant backgrounds. When you're 18 years old, you're running out of the house screaming. and you're moving out to college. At the same time, your parents are kicking you out of the house and cheering you on. Yes, get out of here, go. So the cultures are different. The cultures are different. The cultures
Yeah,
are different.
yeah.
Yeah. Even I'm getting my in-laws in trouble again, but I don't care. I have a niece, and she's just moved out to go to university, and so she's conflicting with her grandmother who was taking care of her. There's that a little bit of that
Yeah.
independence is creeping into Filipino culture, into the Philippines also. A little bit of that. I'm not married, but I'm gonna move out. What? You're not married, but you're moving out? A little
Mm.
a little bit. It's a little bit getting there. A little bit.
True.
Kids are more. They're emphasizing a little bit more their careers. They're getting married a little later. They're having children a little later. This is happening. This has already happened in some other countries. Way out to one extreme, perhaps we can say, or to one extent, and it's happening a little bit now in the Philippines. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Little bit. It's happening.
Yeah.
Slowly
Yeah.
happening.
Yes. Yes.
True.
Okay, it's 8:03. So maybe we could
Wow.
ask you parting words, Ate Rose and Ate Mercy. And before you will say your parting words, I would like to say hi to Coach Schultz Capacetti. I hope that you're uh, get getting well now, Coach Schultz. So thank you for watching. Ate Mers?
Okay, so I'm so happy having met Andres here in TLC. I admire him for being such a minimalist by heart,
Thank
an
you.
American as such. So I hope
Oh, thank you. Salamat.
to still engage you next time so that I will be learning more and people will also be learning from you, especially our young people at this time. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Of course, you will
Oh,
be
thank
with
you.
us
Thank
next
you.
Tuesday, Ate Mercy. Ate Rose?
Okay. Thank you very much, Andres, for your availability. Without you knowing it, many are learning from your experience, and thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. So hopefully, we will have more meetings. Now we will have more sharings, so that there are so many things to learn from each other. Okay. So to our viewers, see you again on Tuesday next week. No, so January is a month of minimalism. A very good
Yeah,
introduction for 2022. Sige, Lore.
that's it. So it's really a new year for all of us here and students and me, for the teachers and for
Mhm.
the students. No,
Mm.
it's because we've always been talking on New Year's resolutions, and maybe this is one of not maybe this is really one of our resolutions to do with Andres
Mm.
being with
Mm.
us until the next Tuesday. Okay? So thank you very much and good evening. Maayong gabi. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Hope to see you all next Tuesday. This is
Andres.
Students and Me. And then we would like to ask Andres for his parting words.
Okay.
Just for
Well,
tonight, and I will see you all. We will see you all. I will see you still on Tuesday.
well, I'm really looking forward to next Tuesday. Thank you for having me last week. Thank you for having me this week. And for those of you who did not tune in, who didn't watch last week's show, please watch last week's show and start your minimalist. You can start your minimalism journey right now by thinking about looking at everything that you have and choosing one item that's good enough in good enough condition that you can give as a gift and
Yeah.
just give it to someone, a family member, a friend, anyone. Don't say, hey, I'm practicing minimalism, can you help me? No, just find something that you own that you don't need but it's in good enough condition that you can give it to someone and give it to someone. And for those of you who are watching again and you heard me say that last time, and you still haven't done it, take your time. That can be take the whole year. This could be your New Year's resolution. By December 1st of 2022, I will have given away one thing that I own
Wow.
that is still in good enough condition that I can give it to someone, and it can be anything.
Mm. Thank you very much, Andres. So
Okay.
we will be
Thank
looking
you,
for
thank
that
you.
beautiful thing. So thank you very much. So magandang gabi, and thank you very much. Again, see you all next Tuesday. In our program, Students and Me, Usapang Buhay. Guro at estudyante sa loob at labas ng paaralan. And this is a beautiful sharing for all of us this evening. Maayong gabi and good night, everyone, and see you all, and have a blessed evening, everyone.